Are you expecting, how many, are you expecting more people, or kind of this is for the announcement?
Think so. I think I'm not sure, but.
I thought you really,
Are we expecting more?
the broad issue of the culture, the class war thing is just. Man, you got it, Joe.
We're waiting for Joe.
Hi, everybody. How are you?
Here comes Mike.
Oh, Mike is coming.
Look at him down there with his red hat. He's coming.
Greg. Mark. Mike is.
Good afternoon. Can everyone hear me? Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jamie Alexanian. I'm a med-surg nurse here at Albany Med. I'm also a member of the bargaining committee and the clinical staffing committee here at Albany Med. These committees and a few others are my second job. We all know that the department investigated Albany Med for months, trying to get to the bottom of patient safety and their nurses. The Department of Health shared the results of their investigation with the hospital back in August. Along with that report, they sent instructions to share it with the staffing committee and to work collaboratively to make a plan to fix it. Despite this clear instruction in multiple letters and in the law itself, we did not receive the report. The staffing committee never saw it. In fact, they told us yesterday in bargaining that we should not have access to it, continuing to lie to their own nurses and to all of you. The only reason we have now seen the report is because the Department of Health shared it with us directly after we requested it via the Freedom of Information Act. What the Department of Health found over the course of these months shows that the hospital staffing violations dramatically surpass all other hospital investigations. This means that over the course of the last few years, no other hospital has so flagrantly put patient care at risk. The report spells out in black and white what nurses have been saying all along. There is a staffing crisis. Albany Med and hospital leadership are refusing to adequately address it. They continue to hide the truth because it's ugly. The very long report shows a shocking 500 plus violations, including over 24 procedural violations. It shows that over the course of 6 months, instead of working with nurses collaboratively, they deflected, ignored, and delayed the Department of Health's important process. The Department of Health has addressed Albany Med's failure to comply in several letters. Despite this, Albany Med continues to act as if it is above the law. They were compelled by the Department of Health to submit multiple revisions of their plan. Instead of working with us, the nurses who take care of Albany Med's patients, I've watched CEO Dr. McKenna speak over and over again to the public, way more than he's ever spoken to his nurses, to mislead, minimize problems, and hide the truth. While the report says there are 32 violations in the neonatal ICU alone, Dr. McKenna has gotten in front of cameras and said there is no problem, that the babies and their parents are happy in the NICU. Our reality is very different. The reality that the nurses shared with management yesterday was very different. Burnt out NICU nurses going home crying while management continues to violate the staffing plan they agreed to. The hospital has closed down beds in the NICU and across the hospital, which they admit to using as a solution to the staffing problem. The hospital continues to rely on expensive travel nurses because they can't keep full-time nurses here in these conditions, and because they are profiting from running their own staffing agency. The hospital continues to refuse to do the work to retain nurses, making our staffing issues even worse. Time and time again, they have shown that they don't want to work with us collaboratively. They do not want to address the massive issues, and they continue to hide the truth. They have pit themselves against nurses, acting as if we are the enemy. We will continue to speak up because patient care is way too important. Our patients deserve better, and we deserve better. Thank you all for coming.
Hi everybody, my name is Jen Bejo, and I'm a proud NYSNA member and RN at Albany Medical Center. I'm also the president of the local bargaining unit at AMC. Yesterday, NYSNA nurses and Albany Med management returned to the bargaining table for the first full day in 2025. After the outpouring of support our campaign received at the beginning of this year from elected, labor, and community allies, our bargaining committee was hopeful that this return to the table would see a change in perspective from our employer. We believed that Albany Med management would come to this first session ready to bargain in good faith and with the intention of settling the fair contract that Albany Med nurses and Capital Region residents deserve. Unfortunately, this was not the case. As they have many times in this nearly year-long process, management refused to listen to our concerns and the myriad issues we face as frontline nurses. Chief among our concerns is our employer's refusal to acknowledge and meaningfully address the ongoing staffing and patient care at Albany Medical Center. As my colleague, Jamie, just explained, NYSNA nurses recently received a copy of the Department of Health Staffing Deficiency Report that was shared with the hospital in August. This report confirms what frontline nurses at Albany Med know to be true. The hospital does not have enough nurses to provide safe, quality care to the Capital Region. For over a year, we have been telling our employer this and asking to help create a plan to address the chronic understaffing that plagues the hospital and impacts our ability to provide every patient care, the appropriate care that they deserve. At each turn, our employer has denied the existence of the staffing crisis, delayed to meet with the state-mandated clinical staffing committee, and unlawfully punished outspoken nurse advocates who want nothing more than to provide care for their families, friends, and community. I was once a member of the hospital clinical staffing committee, and as frontline staff, we work really hard to know the staffing law. But AMC continuously deny us the opportunity to utilize that knowledge to improve the safety and quality of care to our patients. We are often reduced to mere attendees rather than an invaluable source of expertise to help improve staffing in the hospital. Yesterday's negotiation made it clear that Albany Med is still trying to stonewall nurses to exclude us from the staffing committee process and any attempts to address the staffing crisis at this hospital. Frontline nurses want nothing more than to ensure that our patients and community members have access to safe, quality care that they all deserve. We want to provide that care, but we need our employers' help to do so. So here's what we will continue to say to Albany Med. The time for you to start listening to your nurses is long overdue. The Capital Region community needs a fair contract for nurses that meaningfully addresses the staffing and patient care crisis at Albany Medical Center. The DOH report demonstrates very clearly that Albany Med administrators are not going to solve the staffing crisis on their own. NYSNA nurses won't stop fighting until we secure a contract that respects nurses, abides by New York State staffing laws, and ensures Capital Region residents have access to the safe, quality patient care they deserve. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Phil Steck. I represent Colony, Niskayuna, and Guilderland in the New York State Assembly, all communities that are served by Albany Medical Center. I'm here to support, as I have always done, the nurses in their fight for better conditions because they are fighting for all of us. Every person knows that medical care in the capital region is in decline. We got to build it from the bottom up. We have to rebuild it. It's not being done, as all the nurses have testified to, from the top down. They are simply ignoring it and carrying on like business as usual. One of the things, of course, there's the deficiency report, but I want to talk a little bit about something that adversely affects my own district, and that is the tremendous wait times at the ER here at Albany Med. We have excellent EMS in the communities that I represent, but when an ambulance from Guilderland comes down here and has to wait 3 hours for their patient to be even brought into the ER, that's a serious problem, because that's time where they cannot attend to other crises in the town of Guilderland, and that would be true for Colony as well. So again, I offer my 110 support for the nurses. They are fighting for each and every one of us, and I think this pattern, I don't understand when problems are called to the attention of management and they try to pretend through public relations that it's not happening when everyone knows it is. So I am here to wish the nurses well in their struggle for a fair and appropriate contract. Thank you very much.
Good morning or afternoon or whatever we're doing right now. My name is Mark Emanation. I'm the director of the Capital District Area Labor Federation, and I'm very happy to be here today with the nurses. I'm not very happy to be here today for the umpteenth time standing across the street from Albany Med saying why. The fact that this report came out a long time ago and we're only getting it today, and there's 500 plus deficiencies that need to be addressed, and when the Department of Health say address them, they don't address them and spend money on television commercials telling how great it is across the street, is outrageous. And the Labor Federation, which is all the unions in 11 counties around Albany, stand with these nurses, all of our unions, all of our 120,000 members. We always have. It was a long fight to get this union, and they got it. They won a democratic election. It's a union. They're trying to break it. That's why they're not doing this contract. That's why they're not giving raises so nurses come and work here. They're trying to break unions. I'm not going to say the person's name, but the person that runs that hospital makes $2 million a year. I want to say something to the nurses. I want to say thank you for all of the time, the sweat, the tears, the effort, the fight for the union, for yourselves, for the patients, for the community, for the region, and for the state, and for the country. Your fight is an essential fight. We have been in a decades-long war, one-sided. The people that run this country have taken it out on the backs of working people, elderly, young, poor. That's what they've done. They hate unions because those are the big block for the plans of the rich to get this rich, unbelievable greed that they have. Right now, it's gotten worse in this country. The last month has been horrible towards working people, and the plans they have to break all of our unions will not stand. The nurses, with their bravery, their courage, and their fight, what they've the example that they've set for us is the example we're all going to follow, and we're going to win here, and we're going to win all across the board. We're sick of crumbs from the table. We're sick of begging for crumbs from the table. We want the whole table. Questions?
Thank you, everyone. If you have any questions, you can take those questions at this point. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
for coming.
everybody.
Thank you.
The fact that, we weren't able to collaborate on appreciate you.
I made it. You ain't right?
How's the knee?
You're all right.
Did you play? Did you get to play?
Yeah.
You're all
I'm not
right?
limping. I'm not limping.
All right, you're not limping now. You can sit down for a while. Look at your eyes.
I'm good.
No. No, different. I'm in 13, WAMC.
Okay.